What's up, guys? This is Monolith. I'm here doing a deck tech, and the deck for this week, or today, depending on the situation, is going to be Scraps. So, without further ado, monster lineup. We have 30 Scrap Goblins. That's your defense and your quick synchro, because he's going to stay on the field for at least 3 attacks, or at least 2 attacks, excuse me. 3 Scrap Beasts. Yes, 2 of them are proxied because OG King 13 owes me 2 Scrap Beasts. So there's your shout out, douchebag. Give me my Scrap Beasts. 3 Scrap Chimera. That's your guy that grabs your synchros, and even can grab this little guy over here. Scrap Soldier. 5-star tuner, but pretty useful for a Scrap Twin. Scrap Searcher. 3 is tech. Normally people only run 1. What winds up happening is that when it comes to your side of the field, destroys all non-scrap monsters you control, but that's not a problem because the only non-scrap monster you're going to control is Cyber Dragon, and by the time Searcher hits the field, it'll have either died or you'll have synchroed into something. Scrap Golem is the second part of this combo. If your Scrap Searcher is useless to you or you don't want to synchro at the time, you Scrap Golem to summon Scrap Searcher in attack mode on your opponent's side of the field, wiping their field. So, Shien, no problem. Stardust, a little bit of a problem, but they basically would have to sacrifice their Stardust anyway. Thought Ruler, the opposing Scrap Dragons, all that kind of stuff, Odin's, Thor's, they're all going to get taken care of, no problem. So, Cyber Dragon, obviously the regular tech that this type of deck should be running. 2 of, because, 2 of is good, and combined with Scrap Beast, it's a Scrap Twin, or Scrap Goblin, it's a Scrap Dragon. Last, we have 2 more tech cards, Scrap Soldier and Scrap Breaker. Scrap Soldier is pretty good, actually, considering the fact that he has, he's the 5-star synchro, so that's going to go into Scrap Twin or Atomic Scrap Dragon if you have the right combination of cards. Scrap Breaker. I was reading him earlier. He's a pretty bad card, so I'm not exactly sure why he's in this deck. When Scrap Orthos comes out, however, I will probably be dropping 1 Scrap Searcher and these 2 guys to put 3 Scrap Orthos in the deck. Yes, Scrap Breaker is a non-tuner monster that can be used, but that's why we have Chimera, Golem, and Cyber Dragon. So that's the monster lineup. Let's go ahead and head over to the magics and traps. We've got Scrap Storm, 3 of them. Obviously, that's the standard play. 2 Scrap Yards. Scrap Yard is a card that I commonly see Scrap players not playing, and I'm not exactly sure why. Because if you get a hand where you've got a Cyber Dragon and that's it, that's it. There's no synchro play. There's no, I'm going to get out of whatever jam's here because I've got the extra cards. You're basically screwed. So Scrap Yard speeds up getting those tuner plays. Even at defense position, Goblin will do better than just no Scrap Yard. So, 2 MSTs, standard, 2 Smashing Grounds, taking care of those pesky little monsters that you can't get rid of yourself. 1 Book of Moon, 1 Giant Shrunade. Foolish Barrel gets your scraps into the graveyard just like Scrap Storm does, but, without destroying your own scrap monster. And Dark Hole. Spells and traps are going to be 2 Bottomless, 2 Compulse, 2 7 Tools, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential Tribute, and 1 Call of the Haunted. 7 Tools of the Bandit is your anti-trap card. Basically, they drop Oppression or Decree or Warning or Judgment. You basically say, no, I pay 1,000 life points, and it's a double whammy for those who play Judgment and Warning because they pay the life points and don't get their effect. Compulse is one of my favorite trap cards in the game because it basically says, screw you to a synchro monster. They use all their resources to get the synchro, and then you say no, and compulse it back to their hand, which sends it back to their extra deck, which is awesome. Extra deck is quite small because this is a scrap deck, and scrap decks don't necessarily need a crazy amount of synchros. You have your 1 Scrap Archfiend, which is your Chimera Goblin play, your Scrap Dragon, which is your Chimera Beast play, or your Soldier Goblin, or your Chimera Goblin Searcher, or your Golem Goblin, whatever you can do, get this on the field. Scrap Twin is one of those, do they really want to use Stardust against it kind of plays, because you don't lose the cards if they activate it. The only thing you lose is the Scrap Twin, but they lose their Stardust Dragon for a turn, which you can use that time to try and remove the their Stardust Dragon from the grave. Atomic Scrap Dragon is one of those cards that's iffy, but a 1-of is good against Chaos Plants and Light Swarm, because you remove their materials from their graveyard back into their deck. Yes, they have a chance to draw them, but that saves you from an Eminent, Chaos Sorcerer, or Shooting Star, or Spore, or Glow Up Bulb Synchro, or a Judgment Dragon. Atomic Scrap Dragon stops these plays. So this is a good card regardless of what people say. I don't know why it's $1, but it is. Get them while they're hot. And that is your scrap deck tech for the day. I'll be bringing, again, more deck techs as the weeks move on. This is Monolith signing off. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and rate, and all that good stuff. And, yeah, have a good one.